Hello, my name is Michaela Harper, and I'll be doing my final presentation on Gothic architecture. Gothic architecture is a style of architecture that flourished during the high and late medieval period. It developed between the Romanesque and the Renaissance styles of architecture around 1140. Gothic style first emerged in Ile-de-France. That was because urban populations had the means to build great cathedrals that showed Gothic style, so that's exactly what they did. Paris was an important source of artistic inspiration for the rest of France, Germany, and as well as England. Sadly, the Gothic style ended for France by the 16th century, yet it still influenced many other places like Germany and England into the 7th century. When people hear the word Gothic, they quickly assume it's associated with darkness or depression among people who like to be alone and wear black nail polish. Stereotypical to say the least, but originally Gothic style among architecture was created to be confident and daring. Huge stained glass windows, gargoyles, and pointed arches were just a few characteristics that made this era unique. Here's a fun fact for you. Gothic art wasn't always known for the unique name it's known for currently. The original name was French style, which referred to architecture. The name change was credited to Italians who preferred the classical style. The Italians thought of the Gothic barbaric and identified it with one of the most notorious barbarian tribes, the Goths. The Gothic style developed out of Romanesque, which mainly relied on Roman elements that included rounded arches, vaulted ceilings, piers, columns, as well as thick and sturdy walls. The Leaning Tower of Pisa is the perfect example of Romanesque style. Gothic style had many different qualities in comparison to the Romanesque era. Those included pointed arches and vaults, which used less lateral thrust, ribs, which served to concentrate the weight of the vault, making it possible to eliminate the wall between the points, as well as flying buttresses, which were a solid mass of masonry used to reinforce a wall. The first large Gothic building started at the Royal Abbey in St. Denis, which was located north of Paris. This church was created in honor of a man named St. Denis, who went to Paris around 250 CE. A monk named Abbat Suger built the church. He wanted the church to be symbolic of the kingdom of God on earth. Mary, or better known as the Virgin Mary, is the mother of Jesus Christ. Mary was highly favored and was used by God in a fantastic way. When the messenger angel Gabriel came and told Mary she was going to give birth to Jesus Christ, she automatically became an important figure for a lifetime. Medieval art gave much praise to the Virgin Mary because she was considered the perfect woman. Many churches, cathedrals, religious orders, and brotherhoods were dedicated to Mary. During the middle of the 13th century, a new style of Gothic architecture evolved called rayonnant, which means to shine or to radiate. During this period, architects weren't as interested in the size of buildings, they were more focused on the decoration. The architects focused on the light and stained glass. Stone tracery divisions between the areas of glass in the rose windows were also made thinner. This next church, St. Malguin, is a Gothic church with a flamboyant charm. Flamboyant is viewed as flaming by the French. This flaming church brought style to the year 1434. A man named Perry Robinson thought of this masterpiece. Gothic architecture in England was generally split into 4 phases, which were Norman Gothic, Early English Gothic, Decorated Gothic, and Perpendicular Gothic. Norman Gothic consisted of thick piers and rounded windows. Early English Gothic had pointed windows, ribbed vaults, and slender towers. Decorated Gothic had fancy tracery in the windows, flying buttresses, stone decoration, and colorful glass. Perpendicular Gothic had strong vertical lines in the window designs, fan-shaped vaults, and flying buttresses as well. The Florence Cathedral was located in Italy and was designed by a man named Arnolfo di Cambio. The building was completed in 1367. A lot of artwork was laid right on the very walls of this church. Even the bell tower that was created still remains intact, which was in fact created by the famous painter Giotto. A painter doing an architect's job? Strange, I know. But to my surprise, he did a fantastic job. Since Giotto was chief architect, he drew the structure of the church, which still remains to this day. After Giotto died, Francesco Tolenzi took over the work for the bell tower, which had an interior of many rooms connected by staircases. The Gothic era didn't only consist of architecture. So much more was put forth during this era, like art, for example. Their art took place in numerous forms. A main aspect of Gothic cathedrals were stained glass. This unique type of art, or as you can say painting, was used to create beautiful pictures of Christ and the Virgin Mary, not to mention so many others. They were used to capture people's attention with the stories they told. As the sun brightly shined through the glass, it made Gothic churches seem less dark. Creating stained glass can be hard work and overall time-consuming, but the final result will make you feel glad that you finally put in all of that work. Firstly, you'll need to gather the tools and materials used to create everything. Then you'll choose a design, which can be easily found on Google. Next, you trace the design onto the glass. You have to make sure you cut the lines straight and also get the curves correctly. Next, you'll grind everything. You'll use the copper foil, you'll solder everything, and then after that, you'll frame and hang up your project. When searching for the earliest Gothic sculptures, one should look in the Chartres Cathedral because many sculptures still remain there. The sculptures here were originally painted and gilded, but only the stone remained today. Many statues and Old Testament figures, which included Jesus and Mary's ancestors, were also placed here. Illuminated manuscripts are a type of book that has a lot of decoration. These books were very popular during the Gothic era. During this time period, all books were handwritten and also considered a form of art because of all the hard work and effort that was put forth into creating the book. The name itself has a specific meaning because it came about when the artist started adding a gold or silver leaf onto the pages of the books. Illumination comes from the Latin word luminare, which means to light up. The Gothic style of painting started in Italy and then spread to other parts of Europe. Gothic painting was mainly dark and very realistic. During this time period, Christians viewed certain art as a form of adultery, aka sinning against Christ, so they tried to do things the simple way. Gothic art in a way changed things. For example, the pictures of Madonna enthroned, which was a painting of Mary and baby Jesus. Over time, many artists created their own painting of the work. The painting gradually became more natural and realistic over time as each artist created it. During the Gothic era, tapestries were used to keep the cold air from coming through the stone walls into their homes. They were also considered a luxury item, usually given at weddings. During the Gothic era, architecture started a movement that helped change the history of design forever. With their daring aspects, it definitely made a huge mark on history as we view it today.